Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Value Hunting. We're game week 20 and so rare. Stuff's getting harder and harder. I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas if that's what you celebrate, or just a day full of sports. But today we're going to be diving into the so rare streets. We're going to do our best to find 5 or 6 plays of a value cap of 20 or less so that we can build our lineup a little bit more, full, a little bit more full. If you're new to so rare, do me a favor. Click the link in the show notes. You can sign up for So Rare today. You get 20 free comment cards. If you buy 5 off of the live auctions, you get a 6-1 free, and it makes us look good as well. And if you look at the show notes a little bit more, you can find a link to our Discord, our YouTube VIP that has some gated channels for So Rare only. And you can also find the link to Momentum Labs, which are the spreadsheets we are going to be using today for Game Week 20. Before we fully dive into Game Week 20, let's just see what kind of contests the So Rare team is rolling out. I hope everybody ran well this weekend. I did not. I think I'm going to squeeze a rare tier 4 out of things, but that's about it. So here we go. We've got the limited contender, limited champion, limited all offense is back. And then rare contender, rare champion. So that's really the only newbie. And then in the common streets, we have all defense. So that should be a fun. Why don't I'll actually show you guys what how my lineups did this weekend. So we're gonna get a comment tier 2 out of this common contender, the season of giving, which what a crazy night, right? Put up 403. Jokic went for 133 points last night. So I had Jokic, LeBron, Dame, Hero, and Brunson. Wild that Hero's 47 is like the worst thing I had. But yeah, 403 common tier 2. Deck the Halls, wild miss. Limited contender was really, really bad. And then limited champion 2, pretty big letdown, even though I got 59 from Kuz, 57 from Sabonis. Noel and Kaminga really did not do it for me. And then rare tier 4 here, Draymond finally showed up. He dropped to 53. Trey Murphy with the 44. And then underwhelming performances over here. So we'll take the rare tier 4, even though it was not my best week. These projections were updated as of Saturday, so it doesn't take into account any sort of like weird injuries we might have gotten yesterday. So Devin Booker is somebody to pay attention to. He left the game last night very early after a groin injury. Oh, I just looked at our screen. Look at that So Rare Live Before Lock, which is a nice time to plug So Rare Live Before Lock. Tune in today at 5:30. We should be joined by TST. We'll break down the late breaking slate. And sorry, I'm taking a sip of coffee during this. This is early. I haven't had any coffee yet. But anyways, Devin Booker, I think, was the only real injury. Thomas Bryant didn't come back into the game yesterday against the Mavs, but I can't tell if that was on purpose or not. So we got to pay attention to Thomas Bryant. With that, if the Thomas Bryant injury pops, listen, people have been, I said this on Friday, people have been going to Damian Jones. Wayne Gabriel is the play now. Actually, let's look at Wayne Gabriel right now because Wayne Gabriel's been getting all those backup 5 minutes. Or it's Wenyan. I think it's Wenyan Gabriel. I apologize, Wenyan. I know you watch this show. All right. So if we look at the low ask, this like $7, $7. And I mean, if we look at his recent performances, can we see his recent performances on here? I always forget if that's something we can look at. Last score. So he put up 8 yesterday, 22. But 22 is the first game that he became like the backup 5. Man, I don't know. I something to pay attention to. Something to pay attention to. All right, let's get into the sheets. We're gonna scroll all the way down and see what we can find here in the low cap. So right off the bat, Davis Bertans is popping. Now popping relatively, right? So his cap is 6. He's projecting for a little under 9. Nice. Whatever. I don't really like the Dallas situation. But as you can see, there's not a lot of stuff here that's great. Marjan Beauchamp is popping a little bit because of the Chris Middleton injury. Chris did not play yesterday in the Christmas Day beatdown the Celtics gave him. I don't really love Marjan. I know he's popped a couple of times so far this season. He kind of didn't get inserted in until the very end of the game. Javon Carter, however, his role increased a little bit. Trey Lyles, he had a really solid game for the Kangs recently. I believe Rashawn Holmes is supposed to be back, so monitor this projection. But man, I feel like I've been using Trey Lyles as a value piece in daily fantasy sports for the last like 10 years. And then look, this is the thing about this week. It's going to be a little bit trickier. There's not a lot of great plays there. Usually we can find 1 or 2 sub 10, and it's not really there. Nine's the closest we got. All right, Malachi Flynn, I'm still not buying it. Mike Muscala, Torian Prince. I don't really love any of these, if I'm being honest. This is really going to be tricky. James Wiseman, he's like secured some of these backup big minutes with JaMychal Green out. Golden State only has 1 game. We'll have to see if it's home or away, because if it's away, there's more likely he gets a bigger blowout run. Wiseman, I mean, listen, Wiseman, not only stats, was like in the right spots last night playing defense, which that was his biggest thing. They weren't concerned about him on the offensive side. It was his rotations on defense, and he did a really good job last night in that Grizzlies game. Dragic, McLaughlin, I mean, all these guys. There's Gabriel right here. He's got a cap of 12. I didn't realize his cap was already 12. I don't love it. Moody's caps up to 12 now. Guys, there's not a lot of great stuff here. And then we scroll up a little bit more. Thaddeus Young at 14, Kevin Love at 15. I don't really like the Gordon Winslow's calls, but Kevin Love depends on the injury situation in Cleveland, so we got to monitor that. But there is not a lot in the green. Derek White here, the cap is 17. The Celtics have 2 games. Maybe you play Marcus Smart, just got engaged. Maybe he sits out a game. And then you got Marvin Bagley right there. You got a couple guys in the 19 to 20 range. This is tough, y'all. This is tough. So I listen. Maybe the guys that I scrolled over pretty quickly have better shots than I thought. So in this range, James Wiseman sticks out. We should pay attention to the Pelicans. Zion missed 2 games due to health and safety protocols. He that started on Wednesday though, and then he missed Thursday and Friday games. So he's been out since Wednesday. I would assume he's back. But paying attention to the Pelicans news, we're going to need some injury news today. I'm actually going to pull up Twitter and just scroll through Underdog quickly to see, since these haven't been updated since Saturday. Maybe we luck into some other stuff here. With Devin Booker, Devin Booker's already missed time too, so even that Sun stuff isn't going to be super helpful here. Shamit went off last night, by the way. Landry Shamit went over for 30, I believe. So Booker, we can assume, is not going to be back. Michael Porter Jr. still on that minutes restriction. All right, Nick Richards is doubtful for Monday. Okay, so that is actually something. So we can look at Kai Jones here. So Mason Plumlee or Miles, I don't know which fucking Plumlee's still in the league, but that's going to be their starter, right? But Richards has been playing like 20 to 24 backup big minutes. So that's 24 backup big minutes. Kai Jones, I know he's got a projection of 0 and a cap of 7. So the cap is a little bit higher than I'd like. Mark Williams, I believe, is still in the G League. He's their other guy. Yeah. So Kai Jones is probably going to vault into like a decent play here with that injury. Again, that's assuming Nick Richards does miss. It says doubtful right now. Let's see if anything else came out. Dennis Smith Jr. questionable. That doesn't really move the needle. All right, Justice Winslow is out. Hart's probable. Nurk probable. So the Justice Winslow news, I mean, Josh Hart probably gets a little bit of a boost, but that's really it. Derek Jones Jr., Javante Green are both doubtful for Monday, which that means I guess that does help like your Patrick Williams, your Goran Dragic's of the world. With Caruso out too. All right, so with Caruso out as well, Dragic is probably the guy. Dragic, Ayu, Desomu. Those are probably some of your best plays there. Let me see if anything else popped here. Brandon Ingram's still out. Larry Nance questionable. All right, so Zion's going to be back in business. With Zion back in business, he obviously becomes an elite play. If Larry Nance misses, though, it's Hernan Gomez time. I know Joe Val really disappointed in that game on Friday, but Hernan Gomez would probably move in. All those peripheral pieces of Najee Marshall, Najee Marshall, Trey Murphy, all those guys would get a little bit of a boost. Kawhi's been ruled out, and John Wall is not on the injury report. Joe Harris is still ruled out. McLaughlin's still ruled out. Okay, so it's going to be tricky. This is going to be a tricky slate, everybody. I buckle up. This is probably the least helpful one we've done so far. But hey, we still got to do the work. So I think it's important to pay attention to injury news and tune into Live Before Lock. I'm going to do one more quick scroll here down in the lower caps. I think Kai Jones does get vaulted into the conversation a little bit. I think we have to pay attention to we got to pay attention to that New Orleans news. I think Kevin Love is fine. With Jordan McLaughlin out, I mean, I guess that helps Jalen Noel a little bit more. But honestly, D'Lo and Anthony Edwards have been soaking up most of that usage. I do like Wiseman. Hernan Gomez, I don't want Joe Hernan Gomez. I do not trust. Goran Dragic probably gets a nice little bump. Let's see what Io is projecting right now. He's got a cap of 14 and a projection of 10. That should probably get boosted a little bit. Honestly, Io's probably a really solid play that we have to look at. Man, so Io, we got to figure out Kai Jones, maybe. Io, Kai Jones, Goran Dragic. We have to figure out the Pelican situation and the Lakers situation. Those are the next two things that we need to figure out. But man, I hope this was helpful. I probably wasn't. This probably wasn't helpful. I'm just gonna flag plant Kai Jones though. Kai Jones is the guy this game week. Mainly because I already have his card too. That is helpful in this case. But best of luck out there. Again, 5:30 today. We'll be back. I wanted to make sure I got up something this morning, but now I'm like regretting it. But as always, subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop a comment, do all that stuff, and then tune in this afternoon or at 5:30. We'll also I should shout out. I'll be jumping on Andrew Laird's So Rare Data NBA show today at 10 a.m. too, assuming this is up before then. So come check that out. Do all the stuff. Appreciate everyone being here, and God, fingers crossed.